said, if we sit down, we'll get started. I do want to welcome everybody here today. It's a great day for Edna High School, for our community. We've been working a long time on construction. It seems like for the last 5 or 6 years, we've been constant with high school the last 2 years. I want to recognize Bob Wells, Fred Brown, Fred come in today. Usually we have a construction manager that oversees construction projects. And when we did the elementary school, we had a construction manager. The elementary school, we had a construction manager. And when we got into talking about construction in high school, Bob came to us and said, no, I think we can save some money. We'll just do this ourselves. Well, a couple of years later, a few wrinkles later, a few gray hairs more later, we did get through construction. And I'll say that between those two and the rest of the staff, administrative staff, it took everybody working together to bring the construction together. We did have a great contractor. You'll hear from them today. We had a great community effort to get this off and hear from them today. Most importantly, we really appreciate y'all coming out today to talk about the history of the high school. Thank you, sir.
This didn't happen by accident. It happened with a lot of your support, but for me, it's important to kind of remember the history of how this happened. In 1999, that seems like really distant history, the board approved hiring a team out of Texas A&M to come in and do a facility study. And they did. And they looked at our 1958 high school and our 1958 junior high, our 1941 elementary school and our 1926 elementary school. And they said, you guys got to do some work. And we put together a community group. And I see some of the faces of that original group that met in the year 2000 are in this room today. And they began to plan how in the world in Edna were we going to replace all those buildings. And the initial recommendation, as you may recall, was to start with the high school. Was to build the high school first. It was to find another piece of land, build a high school on it, then retrofit the existing high school to be the junior high, and move the junior high up here, and then retrofit the junior high to become the elementary, and move the elementary there. Well, we put that out for a bond election by 100 votes at fate. So we thought, okay, then we conducted forums and workshops and surveys. So why did that fail? And the answer we got was, you got to do the elementary first. And we went, okay. And then the word we got was that when we do the elementary, we got to do it on an existing site. We went, okay. Well, the only existing site big enough was Carver. So we went out for another bond election to build the elementary school at the Carver site. Well, that was solidly defeated. I mean, we got whooped. And then I thought, oh my goodness, where am I going to move? We've had 2 bond elections and they both failed. We decided then that we were going to try one more time to get a bond passed for an elementary school. And we had a great community group that supported that bond. That went to the voters, and in 2005, you, the community of Edna, approved a bond to build a new elementary school. It's my belief that, having seen what a new school looks like, that the community decided maybe having some more would be nice. And after that, we were able to build the junior high out of fund balance. And then we decided to go out for a bond election to build a new high school. And that was incredibly exciting. In just a minute, I'm going to ask Jose Rodriguez to talk a little bit about the community support group, Building for Tomorrow's Cowboys, that helped pass that bond election. But once that bond actually passed, we passed with 60% of the vote on November the 2nd of 2010, which was an incredible accomplishment, I think, and demonstrated a lot of support and trust on the part of the community. As you might recall, the elections in 2010 were not really pro-government and taxes nationally. And so for us to pass a bond here, I was absolutely thrilled that it passed. Then another weird thing happened. Andy Louderback, sheriff, no, he's not here. Andy Louderback called me in November right after the bond passed. And he said, have you heard about this grant from FEMA? And I said, I don't have any idea what you're talking about. Well, we'd already structured the new high school to have a big rectangular gym. I mean, that was part of the bond pact. We we're going to replace the gym out here kind of in the parking lot area with a big rectangular gym. And he said, well, FEMA's maybe giving money if you'd be willing to build a safe room. What's a safe room? So we called FEMA, talked to our architect, Malcolm, and in a matter of about 4 weeks talked to Jackson County, and the folks there were just absolutely wonderful. So between Jackson County and folks here and our architect, we figured out what that meant, and we applied to the emergency management, FEMA, for funding, and they chipped in 75% of the cost of the room you're sitting in, which means the money we had set aside to build the gym, we used for the remaining 25%, but then we still had money left over that we could use to retrofit and renovate the science building. And so this has turned out to be a real blessing. As all of those pieces were falling in place, another remarkable thing happened. And that is, I got a call from Richard Wright, and he said, you know, we got a teacher who lives down near Carongo. He said that he found a neighbor's house, and in that neighbor's garage is a sculpture. He said, you got to go see it. So I hopped in the car, and I drove down to Carongo, and there was a 9-foot-tall bronze Frederick Remington replica of the Bronco Buster. And I thought, whoa, how cool that would be in the foyer of the new high school. At that point, we'd only seen representative drawings of the new high school. So what do you want for it? Well, the price was incredibly low. This guy had been moving this thing all over the country and was tired of moving it. And so then we hired a guy, and I kept calling museums, etc., saying, give me the name of somebody who is worthy of appraising Western art. And in 2 consecutive calls, they told me the name Joe Speed, which happened to be a person I knew. So Joe and I met and went down and looked at the sculpture, and after he looked at it and appraised it, called me back. He said, for the amount of money they're asking, you're getting a steal. And I went, okay. So then what I did was I picked up the phone, because this was not in the budget, and I started calling people saying, you know, we'd like to put this Remington sculpture in the foyer. And the truth of the matter is, after I had made 2 calls, the people started calling me, word spread so quickly. And I think by the end of the second day, we had enough people donate money that it was purchased out of the goodness of the hearts of folks in this community. And I want to recognize those people now. And these are in alphabetical order. John and Lindsay Bradford donated money to the sculpture. I don't know if they're here, I haven't seen them. Patrick, Cherie Matthew, and William Brazil. Patrick, thank you. Joe and Margaret Herbst. Joe, thank you, sir. Mac, Dr. Mac, and Carol Ann Lee. Dennis and Kay Simons. Sklar and Son Cattle, that's Shane and Jill, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Joe and Cheryl Speed, thank you. Jake and Shelley Sir, thank you very much. Harrison and Jeanette Stafford, thank you very much. And me and Debbie. And there is a plaque in the wall, on the wall, right there by that sculpture in the foyer of our room, of our new high school, that has all our names on it, for people who donated for the purchase of that Remington sculpture known as the Bronco Buster. It was cast in 1885. And we felt like that was an appropriate place to put a nice sculpture for the Edna companies. So that sits there. We bought the sculpture, and thank goodness for Patrick, because we didn't have any place to put it. We organized portables, and you might recall that over spring break in like 2011, we moved the entire high school into a little portable city back here that's all but forgotten. And then for a year and a half, the high school functioned in those portables. And so Patrick stored the sculpture at LNRA, and I didn't go look at it, because I just couldn't imagine moving it, much less holding it. We had a groundbreaking for the new high school in June of 2011, where everybody stood around with shovels. And we got some pictures. And I don't know if they're still on the website, but they exist somewhere. And since then, it's been demolition and it's been full speed ahead. And in just a minute, I'm going to ask Jose to step up here and talk a little bit about that bond support committee that helped make all this happen. But I'm going to take a moment of personal privilege, if I might, and hopefully you'll forgive me, because nowhere on this agenda, because it is in fact a secular ceremony, but I feel the need to pray over this. If you'll forgive me, I'm going to step away from the government paid for mine.
last minute change. I'd like to ask Mike Crowder to come down. He'd like to make a presentation.
Bob Wells came here 14 years ago. I've been involved with the schools pretty closely in that time, and I've seen his effect, the things that have happened while he was in charge. He's got a lot of good memories. Our education, academics, scores went up every year. Our band, our extracurricular activities, our science and math performance on UIL stuff, we've done real good under his leadership. And so we got a little going away present here. That's a reminder of that horse that's in the lobby, Cowboys. Here it is, Bob Wells.
This is from the community of Edna, Texas, to Mr. Bob.
It's terrific.
Since I was on the board, I was on the bond committees also, and it seemed like I've failed more bonds than I've passed, but finally we've got this thing built, and it's really great for the community. There was a lot of people involved. I'm going to name some names, and if you would please stand, raise your hand, smile, do something if you're kind of shy. These were all people that were involved with the last bond committee.
Alone and be a visual reminder to everyone that our nation's flag continues to serve as a symbol of freedom and democracy in America. Again, thank you for the opportunity to serve the district, and may this flag wave proudly over Edna High School and the Edna community.
Good afternoon. I'd first like to say it is a privilege and an honor to be this high school principal. This community, you are actually being part of history. Those of you that can actually appreciate what is actually taking place today, it will probably manifest itself in you once you get to the house. You're in a building that's being dedicated today that is going to be here for you. You're basically the inaugural crowd, because this is the true dedication to Edna High School. Today we have all of our facilities open. We did have an open house in the spring, but now all of our facilities are open. We're going to have our science building open. You'll be able to go throughout the school and go see whatever you want to see. Classrooms aren't locked, but if you want to get in there and peek at one, I'll let you take a look. But our facility is open. I want you guys to also think about what you've done for us, what you've done for the children in this community by making this come to fruition. Our board, our community, Mr. Wells, RWS, and Washington Construction. On behalf of Edna High School, I'd like to thank every one of you for making this possible, because the bright blue that you see on this floor is special. The stands that you sit in are special because it's ours. We're going to take pride in it, and we're going to defend it, we're going to take care of it. Everything that we have been blessed with, and the things that we have to be appreciative of. Because there's a lot of schools that we go visit, but they don't have fine facilities like this. There's a lot of schools that would love to be in our shoes. We're blessed and we're fortunate to have these wonderful things. And once again, our campus is your campus. If you're driving down the street, you feel like you would like to come in and just take a look at what you've done for your community, for your kids, for your grandkids, come on in. And I'd be happy to show you anything that you'd like to see. Because this is your facility,
belongs to you. It's here to stay. It's here for a long time. Once again, before we go and take a tour of our building, I want everybody in here to give yourselves a hand clap because you guys made this possible. Zowski for the official dedication.
And I'll just have to, Mr. Willis just said, there's that to that. When you come, check out the office, right? So, all those things being said, today is official dedication of the facilities. And on behalf of the Board of Trustees, on behalf of the administration, we officially dedicate these facilities to the students and community of Edna High School. So they are open for your enjoyment and for your use. A long time ago, 2 years ago, my father-in-law was cleaning out some old papers, and they gave me a copy of the 1958 dedication ceremony to the existing, or what was the old high school. And it was quite interesting looking at the verbiage they used, the language back then. Very eloquent. And I hope that we've done honor to that school. I know we've used it for a long time, and it's time for a new time to do that. So enjoy the facility. I think we have folks to guide. If you have a question, find somebody. I think we have some students around that can help lead you. I believe there's also refreshments in the cafeteria. Okay. If you get tired, think you need to sit down, take a break. We do have refreshments. I hope the cafeteria is on the other side of the gymnasium. So you're welcome to do that. So, have a good afternoon, and I appreciate everyone's attendance.